Each year, hospitals in the UK produce a whopping 170,000 tonnes of waste. About 7% of this is recycled, but the rest is carefully disposed of, sorted and taken away for incineration. To find out more, I took a trip to Kingston Hospital in southwest London. I've come here today to speak with Paul Graham, the hospital waste manager, who's kindly agreed to show me how it all works. Let's go take a look. To explain the different types of waste and how they're segregated, Paul took me into the hospital to see the process. I'm here with Paul up in one of the hospital wards. I've got a lunch pot with me and a nappy as well. I would usually put the lunch pot in the recycling bin and the nappy would go straight in the bin.
In the hospital it's not quite that simple. We've got some bins here you can have a look at. The black lidded one is a domestic waste bin, so I could put this in there. If it's clean, this one is, so let's pop that in there. Now next to it we've got a clinical waste stream. So this is the tiger waste because it's a yellow background with a black stripe on it. That's for anything that's non-infectious. So if this patient was not infectious, this waste could go in there. If they're infectious, it would be an orange lidded bin. So let's just pop that in there.
How about the one on the end there?
This is a sharps bin. It's a reusable sharps bin. So you put any needles or broken glass or anything like that in here. It's got a special mechanism to stop things coming out again. So I can't get my hand back in, it's tamper-proof. And these are reusable pieces of equipment. So it goes away, it's emptied, and the contents is then sent for incineration. And the outer package is cleaned and brought back to the site.
It turns out there are a remarkable 11 different types of hospital waste, each of which has its own specific procedure and corresponding coloured bin to help clinical staff dispose of it correctly. Okay, here we are, Paul, at the clinical waste transfer station. What goes on here?
Well, this is where all the waste from across the site is brought so that it can be grouped together, tagged appropriately so we know what it is in transit. And then the big yellow waste containers you can see behind you are loaded onto a giant lorry and taken away for disposal.
So then what happens after it's taken away?
Well, after the waste has been taken away, it's taken to an incineration facility where it's sorted by type so that we get billed correctly. And then it's incinerated at about 1,000 degrees. I think it's between 800 and 1,000.
Later on, Paul showed me around the old catering wing, which has been closed since 2014. As waste manager, it's his responsibility to make sure that the abandoned furniture and equipment is removed. But this can be an expensive business and sometimes the cost is just too high. Waste management departments across London are faced with finding a chilling £1.5 billion just to clear the current backlog of works. So the pressure is on Paul and others like him to find the budget. To find out what can be done, I went to speak to the Director of Estates and Facilities, Charles Handford.
A lot of the main services run through the building. Cost to demolish is in excess of £1 million. So yeah, it's a problem, it's an ongoing problem.
And what can the government do to help with this problem?
Well, they've commissioned an independent report by a chap called Sir Robert Naylor. What he suggested is that the majority of the land value is in the London area. So if you Pareto that, 80% of the land value equates to something around £2.5 billion. In particular, from Kingston's perspective, we've got about £60 million worth of surplus land that we could possibly sell off, which would then support the refurbishment of the hospital. And if you then transfer that to the rest of the country, you'll get some significant values which can have a positive impact on the NHS generally.
Great. Paul said he had one last thing to tell me.
Okay, Omar, now you know everything you need to know about hospital waste. So if you'll just take these, and yeah, I'll just leave you to sort this lot out then.
What? Paul, come back.